listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grammer. Wounded Warrior Project supports injured veterans by connecting them with fellow warriors, by serving them through mental health and wellness programs, and by empowering them to live on their own terms. No one should face a battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
As a parent, your life is your child.
With Luke, he's the whole world, you know?
He was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and it just rips your heart out. You feel completely helpless.
But when you come to St. Jude, that is a whole nother level of care.
You have cutting-edge scientific research here, doctors at the top of their game, and there's nothing but love in everything that they do.
I asked my wife, I was like, what is this going to cost us? And then we did a little bit of research, and then we realized that no family ever receives a bill.
St. Jude covers the cost of everything so that we could focus on our family. St. Jude gave our family the chance to be together. They saved our son's life, and we did not pay a cent. And that wouldn't have been possible without St. Jude.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Thank you, Lawrence, and good morning, listeners. This is the Kingston Community Radio Talk Radio Show, Wednesday morning. We're broadcasting live from 16 Lucas Avenue right here in Kingston, New York, and we'd love to hear from you. 331-9255 is our call-in number. Alongside of me is Town Supervisor from Saugerties, Fred Costello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Greg. I don't even want to say it out loud. It's September 8th.
Yes, it is. It is September the 8th, and, of course, big anniversary coming up this Saturday with yes. September the 11th. I know a lot of celebrations, I shouldn't say celebrations, ceremonies going on throughout the county. The county's doing a fairly substantial one at the fairgrounds. Mm-hmm. And I see now where there's a bike ride part of it. I get the emails from Mark. I always botch his last name.
Can't help you.
That
is it Costello?
Yeah, that could be. Yeah,
I think it is. We apologize if we messed it up. We just want to get your event out there.
I can picture his name. I can
too,
but coming to pronounce it, I butcher it all the time. And in Saugerties, we're going to do one right at the monuments, the 911 and veterans monuments, along with the newly installed this past June Jack Rose
fallen
firefighters. And that's going to be from 6 to 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, for folks that haven't seen the Fallen Firefighters Monument, it really, I think it's going to dramatically change our 9/11 commemoration because it kind of fits right into the theme. And the monument looks amazing. Tina's landscaping that all the guys helped put in, it really matured over the summer. It looks incredible.
It does.
It looks like he's been there for 30 years.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
It looks good, though.
And, in the next couple of years, those roses will take right off and
really offer a lot of color.
23. Well, no, as far as height is concerned, is it 23? We've got the convention back?
I think so.
I think it's 20.
I think so,
I
yeah.
think it's 23, yeah. So then everything by then will really be matured up there. And what I'm hoping to do between now and then is get some decent grass established, just with the construction. And then, of course, when the other work went on with the sidewalk, et cetera, got a lot of weeds and crabgrass up there. So I'm hoping to do that and to have it that would make it look really presentable.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get that squared away. The rest of the complex looks good.
Thank you.
The improvements on
the team is doing a great job, and
they are. The improvements on the main baseball field are coming along.
Yeah, we got quite a drainage project going there. We finished that one across Pavilion Street. That's where we had the collapsed road, and we got several other fields where we've got to do drainage work, and a lot of erosion up on the trails. A couple of slides.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't even know. It's probably going to be November, December before we get to that. I know.
Couple of slides, huh? There's so much limestone poking through that hill. I'm surprised that there's a lot of movement.
Yeah, and you get these trees that grow out of the side of the hill,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been there for years, and a lot of them are either partially out or completely fell out.
Really?
But it's amazing the way they've grown out of the rocks.
There's no topsoil up there.
No.
Kick the topsoil with your shoe and you're standing on lime.
But we had one which was easy to clean up because it was a bucket. We had quite a bit of rock and stone that slid down onto the lower portion of the trail. And then, of course, right at the trailhead, because it's such an incline going up, and of course coming down it's a decline,
Mm-hmm.
all that water came rushing down, and then from the second level, and it gouged.
Made some ruts.
Yeah. So it's, we talk about this, and we've heard now the new governor talk about it. We've heard the president talk about it. Unfortunately, I think this is the new norm.
We've said it on air before, but 10 or 15 years ago, you went to your conference and you shared it when you came back, and you talked about, I don't remember the individual's name.
Frank Rossi from Cornell. Yeah.
Boy, he seems like a prophet now.
Yeah.
He pretty much nailed it.
You hit the nail right on the head.
And as you were talking about the damage we suffered, we were so lucky here in the Hudson Valley. For the most part, we've had, compared to our neighbors in the south, we've done just fine.
Yeah, it was really devastating, especially in the city, in the 5 boroughs, New Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, the property damage feature itself, but I think they're up around 50 deaths, which is extraordinary.
I think I saw 52.
52
in the tri-state area.
That's incredible. I can't believe it. And some of the video footage from people had cameras in their homes when the walls of the foundations would collapse in. Did you see any of that?
Yes, I did.
Holy cow.
And the 2 New York City firemen that went underwater into the hole of the basement to try to save those people in there, a couple of adults and a toddler, and unfortunately didn't make it.
Incredible amount of courage for those guys.
But,
to do that.
for them to certainly, when you're going into water like that, it's not like you're going underwater in the Esopus Creek or the Hudson River. You don't know what you're going to encounter. There could be electrical wires, leaking gas mains, and it was really heroic. But that was some video that the NYPD released.
Yeah, incredible amount of courage, and boy, it was really uplifting. But your point is well taken. Think about what's in your home. When it's in water, it's going to become buoyant. Those are all obstacles you have to work and manipulate yourself around, and some of them could become very dangerous.
People all the time, they don't realize the power of water. But if there was ever that example of that water that came and took the entire concrete wall out of that one structure, that was just unbelievable to see.
That was the video where the resident walked past the camera and then the wall fell right behind him almost.
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Or that huge wave, a ball of water that came into the New York City subway.
Mm-hmm.
That was another impressive.
Yeah, that was really.
It just goes to really put in place. And you can talk about it, but to see the visual, the video, excuse me, really shows the magnitude of how devastating
it really does.
It was. And I'm sure it's going to take some time. And the Passaic was due to crest below flood stage today, and now they're forecasting these heavier showers and thunderstorms this afternoon.
Ugh.
Or this evening, I should say. The computer models changed late yesterday afternoon. I think we're going to get through the day dry and then this evening. So hopefully it's not going to be too severe. And
it is a cruel irony, though. East of the Mississippi, we're drowning in water.
Yeah.
And abundant, which is good in a way. But west of the Mississippi is devastated. And, some of the satellite photography they're sharing with many of the reservoirs along the Colorado River, especially, there's nothing left. It's pretty.
They're in trouble out there.
They're in big trouble.
They're in trouble. And it's
Now, we'll have a consequence here at some point because we rely so much on our produce supplies from that part of the country. So, there's going to be implications for that.
You have to wonder too, as these events occur down on the Gulf Coast, out on the West Coast, will you start to see residents, just get to the breaking point and not rebuild and relocate elsewhere?
So I was thinking about that too for some reason. And the census seems to indicate that's exactly what happened, right? California lost population for the first time, I think, ever.
Yes.
So maybe that might be one of the indications of that exact trend you just described. It's I've never been to California. I'm dying to go, and it looks beautiful. But if it's not a drought, it's a mudslide or earthquake, and
yeah,
if you only have one lifetime, how many of those you want to live through?
Well, that's the thing, and then you have
wildfires
these events that keep repeating themselves, and with the wildfires, unfortunately, and again, I've said this before, I hope I'm wrong, they're not going to go away.
I don't think so either.
Hurricanes are not going to go away, and because it appears this is all attributed to climate change. These events, these hurricanes, the wildfires, are so much more severe than what they have been previously.
There was a statistics: the top 10 wildfires happened since 2010.
Wow.
That's a mouthful.
That speaks for itself, right?
So hopefully, hopefully we can turn the corner on this and start resetting.
We talk about this all the time. Yeah, we'll have severe thunderstorms. We'll have an occasional tornado or a micro or macro burst. But you stop and think in our neck of the woods here. Granted, to the south, what they got was something that they never ever experienced before. I think it was the first time that I know it was the first time that the National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning for all 5 boroughs in the city. So that had never ever happened before. And occasionally, we'll get a 20 inch or a 2 foot snowfall blizzard. But you look at that in comparison to the other parts of the country, what they have endured and what they go through, and the amount of property damage and loss of life. Fortunately,
we live in
don't
a pretty good
experience
spot.
that here.
Yeah, we really do. Greg used to say that all the time. He says Northeast will always be relevant. We have water and the weather's great.
Now, I've said this for quite a while. I mean, is that going to be the one precious resource that brings people, back to New York or the Northeast? And that's water. And again, we just touched upon with California, the last census, with the population dropping for the first time. Have some of those people relocated to the Northeast?
I suspect they have.
I didn't take notice what the increase was. I imagine there was an increase in the population of Florida.
Yeah, and Florida and Texas seem to be, Arizona, that Sunbelt area seems to be the fastest growing part of the country. And but New York grew quite substantially as well, and it saddens me when I think about it. Across the entire state, 80 more people counted would have meant we did not lose a congressional seat.
Yeah.
That's tragic.
That is tragic. When you talk about the population of New York State, and you talk 80 people, what that percentage equates to.
Yeah,
a lot of zeros. A lot of zeros
in funding
before the digit. Yeah.
And the electoral seats translate directly into the electoral college, so there's a lot of implications for that. And 80 people, you could find that. Certainly in Ulster County, probably just in Saugerties alone, we could have found 80 people.
Could very well.
Their census form.
Census. Yeah. That's sinful, and it's shameful.
It really is. But
so we've got Michelle Hinchy, Senator Michelle Hinchy this morning. I'm not sure if she's no, wait a minute. No, that's next week.
No, that's next week.
Michael
Oliveri.
We've got him at, and I'm sure he'll be here in the studio at 7:35. And then Bob Siracusano will be calling in around 8:10, 8:15. And
we're almost kind of giggling because we see Bob between the two of us 3, 4, or 5 times a week easily, and he did an event without us even knowing about it.
Yeah, didn't even know.
And
so and then he started rifling off. This is when we have a conversation. Oh, he called me Sunday because he's doing these yard signs up to promote the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so he was telling me about all the events that he had done, and I don't want to touch upon too much because he's going to touch upon it, how the turnouts have been. And I'm going to leave it at that, and then I don't want to steal his thunder.
I know he was really happy after the Diaz function.
Peggy Schwartz then follows. Peggy is the vice chair or vice president, I'm not sure exact title, of the Saugerties Chamber. Yeah. And currently their virtual auction is going on for the street art, the butterflies. And that comes to an end on Saturday, this Saturday. And, they were contemplating doing an in-person auction, possibly a hybrid. And then when they realized it was on September the 11th, and normally they would have that in the evening, out of respect for the 20th anniversary of 9/11, they decided to go strictly virtual, which was I think was a good move. And they didn't do that bad last year when they did it the auction online virtually.
Yeah, I think it'll be successful. There was some pretty interesting butterflies out there this year, and Chamber does so much good work. I think people want to make sure that they have the resources they need to continue on with their work.
Yes.
They do a scholarship now. They sponsor the street art. They are one of the best conduits for businesses coming to Saugerties to have a platform to introduce themselves and to get to know other businesses that might be able to provide services and goods to them. And we're fortunate right now. We have a number of fairly new ventures in Saugerties that need that platform to get to know their neighbors and figure out ways where they can fit in. So there's some really exciting stuff happening at the Orpheum.
Yes. And you and the mayor got a sneak preview, right?
Yeah.
Of it?
Yeah.
You got the whole thing?
Pretty much, yeah. They I love their idea though. They're trying, over the years, drop ceilings and things of that nature have been installed, and they're trying to go back to the original finishes and expose the original Art Deco furnishings that were inside the building. And they even found the original doors to the Orpheum.
Wow.
They found them in Hudson, but they're installed on a building. So I think they had communication. We have to have them on because they have so much to talk about.
Yeah, let's do that. We got that fifth Wednesday coming up. We're going to have Jerry and Lisa. I got to confirm a time with them. And then we're going to get the, and I didn't have her contact number because I was thinking, who's the one that is running for
Laura Nordstrom.
Yeah, you were gonna
we could
text her and include me on the thing. So
that's in September. We have 5.
We have 5.
Okay.
We have
so
5
we'll
in
have no trouble filling those
September.
spots.
So it would be, let's see, today's the 8th. It would be the 29th of 29th of
okay. We'll try to
September.
So they're, I think the people who have the doors, though, are going to allow them to replicate those doors originally. So they'll have as close to original as they can at some point. And exciting. And their vision for the theater is really a part of the arts community in Saugerties. And obviously they're going to show movies and people could go there and enjoy it that way. But they have a different vision. They want to be part of facilitating the community and giving it a platform for artists to express themselves. The film industry by us is busting through the seams.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Upstate Films has really got a lot of activity going on, and the filming of Pretty Little Liars, pretty much everyone knows about because they were out and about for 2 weeks right at the end of summer. And they really transformed the gym. Someone posted some pictures on social media, and it didn't even look like the Saugerties gym.
No. And I think I said this before, what they did with the catwalk and making it look, decorating it the way they didn't even
strike you.
Yeah, it didn't even stick out, just like it belonged there. Boy.
They also used the Orpheum as part of the set. So they were inside there, and they set that up to suit their filming needs. So that'll be part of the Pretty Little Liars episodes as well.
They must be doing some kind of a shoot where they need the additional parking on the 15th, because Elizabeth had reached out to us, Elizabeth Moy, and they've got the east side of Mosier Drive reserved again for parking on the 15th.
Perfect.
September.
That's another guest I would love to get on, but their schedule seems to be so tight.
Oh, yeah, it would be.
Yeah, it would be. We're going to try. We'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
The worst they can say is no, and I think, they're.
Exactly. You're never going to know unless you ask.
That's right. There too, I just championed Kevin Pickock. He had the vision and the patience to wait for the right user for his facility. And I know he turned away a number of users that would have paid him rent, and he had a different vision, and he stuck to it. So
good for him.
Yeah,
it's a credit to him.
Absolutely.
It's a credit to his business professionalism.
Yep.
And
pretty incredible.
Yeah. 331-9255 is our call-in number. Want to give us a call? Anything on your mind? Any concerns? Any questions that we might be able to help you out with? Give us a call here at 331-9255.
And then you can see it from 32, the construction of the new hotel resort in Glasgow. Have you driven down there behind the ball field?
Yeah.
Did you see the recent delivery they got of landscaping material?
No.
You have to go, Greg. It's like, it's just...
I've been tempted to drive down that road, but I don't know if I should. It goes, by the firehouse, by the Little League fields.
Yeah.
And the football.
Yeah, there's construction activity, so you have to steer clear of that. But you don't have to go onto the site to see the acres of trees that they imported to build the berm. They'll divide the property from the existing homes. Trees, like 13, 14 feet tall.
Wow.
And there's hundreds of them.
Wow.
So they're trying to be as good a neighbors as they can.
You're probably talking over $100,000 in trees.
I would probably say more than that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
You have to see it because it's kind of a spectacle. I know, you've been involved in.
You can see it from 32.
You can see the trees from 32. You can see it. It's like Augustine's inventory by 10.
Wow,
that's a lot of trees.
Wow.
So they're underway. I think they're a little bit off their construction schedule because of the shortage of building materials, but they're still hopeful to be open next year at this time. So we'll see how that goes.
Wow.
I just, the supply chain is so disrupted right now, and
it's terrible.
Yeah. So
Absolutely terrible.
I think realistically it's overly ambitious to anticipate an opening next year, but they're on their way, and the accumulation of all these new projects is really transformative for us. There's a lot of activity and a lot of opportunities for employment, all kinds of investment happening, and I kind of Sawyer's Lumber has got to be thrilled to pieces having the studio nearby.
Yeah,
got to be.
Saugerties Lumber, Smiths.
Yeah.
That's good. It's we've heard Ward Todd all the time talk about shop small, shop local.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so very important in every community to support the smaller businesses, the mom and pops.
Yep.
As,
they're the backbones in the fabric to keep it going.
And of course, with is that third or second generation with Rick and Sharon? Second generation was
Dick was Rick's dad and Sharon's dad.
Yeah. Now, did Dick's father or did Dick start the business?
I'm guessing. I don't know.
I know who Jimmy Gage would know the answer to that.
Jimmy Gage would definitely know. That's a legacy business as well. Rick and Angie's kids are working there now, and it's just
so they'll become third generation.
Third
Jake
generation
and
for sure, maybe fourth. So
either third or fourth. True.
Yeah.
So that's good. And I know Rick had a banner year last year, and I'm sure it's been continuing because you get in the habit where, and he's hired a lot of obviously young people because that's about all that you can basically get your hands on out there in the workforce. Although with these extra benefits expiring, hopefully, that's going to open up more people. I saw last week the number of jobless claims was the lowest since pre-pandemic. And I'll call and I'll ask to speak to Rick, and 9 out of 10 times, he'll have to call you back or Sharon or Jake. And, it's just like the individuals that we hired, the high school students. It takes time and takes, education. So, you can ask them for a 2-inch Sketch 40 pressure tee, and, there'll be silence.
Okay, let me get Rick.
End of the phone. And that happened yesterday, and that's why I just happened to say that. And but the point,
if those guys can't find it for you, though, it might not exist.
Oh, I know.
They're
well, that's the same way with Jack over at Spinnowebers.
Yep.
And even Deb and I forget her husband's name up at Pipes Plus. And we had called for back in August to get the HDPE pipe because we wanted to increase, and we're doing this all over. We're increasing the diameter size of pipe just because of these rains that we get. And there was 8-inch that ran across that road, so we upped it to 12-inch, and they had been out of stock for 3 to 4 weeks, and they had no idea when they were going to get it.
Come again.
Yeah.
So
it's with everything. And a lot of this stuff too, like with that pipe, is on state contract, and still the demand is just unbelievable. And of course, what I've been told, another one that we deal with because they're on a federal municipal purchasing contract is Partech Pete in New Jersey, is getting deliveries, as you just talked about, out of Arizona and out of the West Coast. And a lot of this infield mix and material comes from Arizona.
Does it come that far?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of the stuff they mine right in Jersey, but some of your bagged products.
Yep.
Okay. Like the drainage material that we're adding to the finger drains. Fortunately, we ordered that early and had it on hand, and we're not in a situation because I don't know if you could buy the stuff right now.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I read a little story the other day. There was, I think, like 30-something container ships off the coast of California waiting to be unloaded, but they can't get to the port because the ports are overrun right now. And it was a similar story for the East Coast, that there are a number of container ships moored.
I don't think anybody saw this coming. I don't think anybody predicted this. When we were entering the pandemic back a year ago, March, I don't think anybody, if anything, I think everybody was fearing the worst. It was the same way with March Gallagher. I can remember when March was on.
Yeah, we were all
And then in June, what she was projecting as a shortfall in revenues was scary.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way they ended up at the end of the year.
We had that experience too. We planned for
too.
the worst, and it ended up not being realized, thank God. But I don't think we're out of the woods yet, Greg, because it's...
Oh, no, by no means.
Yeah.
No. And now you got this new variant that they're talking about, Mu.
It's disturbing to go past car dealerships and they don't have inventory. So the economic, we could sputter again. I worry about that.
College football
because of the
game.
chips, right?
Because of the chips are a big deal.
Siracusano was telling me.
Yeah.
It's because of the chips.
Yep. And there's someone shed a little light on that. There was a big chip fab proposed for Indonesia, and for some reason it did not get approved or built. And there was not a global inventory plan to fill in that void. So when the consumption for the existing facilities hit that mark where that plant was supposed to kind of fit in, now there's that shortage, but it takes like 2.5 years to get one of these things off the ground. And they're talking about expanding in Malta. Did you come with us when we went up there?
No.
A lot of the IBM production moved up there to Global Foundries. And
Malta?
Yep.
No fool.
They have a giant chip fab up there, and now they're talking about building that same scale once again.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's good long-term economically, but in the near term, those shortages chips are a big deal. All right,
we are at the bottom of the hour. We'll be back in a few, listeners.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Screening exams for breast, lung, or colorectal cancers are necessary to detect and treat disease at its earliest, most curable stage. But you may have some concerns and questions. Answer your questions and ease your fears by visiting radiologyinfo.org. In addition to information on screening and wellness, you'll find more than 200 descriptions of radiologic exams, procedures, and treatments to help you prepare. Get informed and be prepared. Visit radiologyinfo.org. Produced by the Radiological Society of North America and the American College of Radiology.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio has been brought to you by the First Savings Bank in Ulster County that still remains local to this day. Ulster Savings Bank, a community bank that's invested in local business, invested in community, invested in you. Ulster Savings Bank, your one-stop resource for everything local. Locations throughout the Hudson Valley and online at ulstersavings.com. Member FDIC.
Thank you, Lawrence, and welcome back, listeners and viewers who have been with us the first half hour. Those just joining us, welcome. 331-9255 is our call-in number. We would love to hear from you. Supervisor Fred Costello from town of Saugerties is alongside me here in the studio.
Good morning, everyone.
And we are expecting, I misspoke. I said Senator Hinchey, and in the door comes Mike Oliveri.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Doing well. How you doing?
No complaints. No complaints.
Well, that's good. That's good. If you have no complaints, that's a good thing.
Yes.
I saw Mike over the weekend at opening ceremonies for the Hula.
Yes.
And that was a special thing for being from Saugerties. That's where Bill lived, and he raised his family there. And I grew up with his children, so for him to be honored that way was pretty special.
They did a lot of great dedications for him.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, and I know his family was pretty sentimental, obviously, about the whole thing. So I had the privilege of being near them, and it was a pretty special morning. I really enjoyed it, and what a great guy. He just, he was so proud of his heritage, and he was a mentor to so many people, teaching and being a good friend and a dad and a husband, and it was really appropriate that he got that recognition that morning. So it was pretty special, and I was glad I was able to be there.
Yeah, it was definitely heartfelt.
Yeah.
And you could see the impact that he had, not only on the event, but the community, like you were saying. It was...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the members of the Hibernians who were there, they were all really touched, too. And I know Bill Sullivan was one of his close friends, and he was really cherishing the moment, too. So it was a pretty special thing to be part of. I kind of I had that sense going down, but I left really touched, so
yeah.
I was really glad I made
Definitely, and it was cool that they had the Irish consulate gentleman there as well to pay his respects and thank everyone for what he did and to bring everything together. And I thought the tribute that they were doing for him over there was going to be was touching as well.
Yeah. Now, so I completely botched on the time of it. So it was in the morning?
Yeah, it was at 11
a.m.
Yeah. They did a little parade down Broadway to the Gallo Park, and then they had Gallo Park set up, and they did the opening ceremonies right there, and it was awesome. Couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
Sang the Irish national anthem, the American national anthem. They had the bagpipes, and a fair number of dignitaries showed up to do it. And like Mike was just mentioning, the member of the Irish consulate was there.
I had it on my phone for 1 o'clock. Yeah,
so then you get to hang around for a little while, but I wanted to come back to Saugerties because we had the Sawyer Savings Bank celebration. So I went back to Saugerties and spent a little time with those folks. And I was glad the rain held off enough that people could enjoy the day.
Yeah, it was good. We came back later on in the evening, and the rain had obviously stopped at that point. So people were actually able to go out there and enjoy the event, which was always good. The bagpipes always get me.
Yeah, those.
I went to the 9/11 tribute that they did at Ulster Hose because they always do it the week before.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I was good when they were just playing the regular bagpipes, but as soon as they started with the Amazing Grace, I lost it. Every time. But it was, that was a good event that I went to too. It was the 20-year anniversary of that, which is just mind-boggling.
It is.
That's one of those events that you remember exactly where you were when you found out. It's one of those etched in your brain moments forever.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's hard to believe that we're coming on. It's the 20th anniversary of it. It's I feel old because I was walking up the stairs at Ulster Community College when one of the guys had his radio on. This is when they were redoing the grounds and they were building the fountain. One of the guys had his radio on, and I heard it there. And I had a computer class. I told my teacher about it, and he's like, "All right, your job is to inform everyone of what's going on." And I told him, I was like, this happened, and then my face went pure white. And he's like, what happened? And I said, the towers fell. And he's like, we're going home. He canceled class, and then about 10 minutes later, they made the announcement that school's over, that they're sending everybody home. Mm-hmm. But it was just crazy that we're coming up on a 20-year.
Yeah, and just yesterday or the day before, they were able to identify through enhanced DNA 2 additional individuals. They released one name, but the family, the other, did not want
that name
released.
At least they got the closure, though.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It may not be, it might not be public information, but at least the family knows, okay, we knew the outcome, but now we have that final closure of it.
I can't help but be curious. I wonder how they found the DNA sample that was usable after all that time. That's pretty incredible.
That is.
Yeah.
So, but your point's valid, Mike. Those families, suffered for all that time, and I think hopefully that's a little bit helpful to him.
Yeah,
and give him a little bit of peace. But
and I also want to send my condolences to the Vanderwater family because Kyle passed away yesterday.
That was unexpected.
Yes,
because he's young, right? 40.
Yeah, 41. I think he's my age. Yeah,
wow.
He's in his 40s.
Oof.
Yep,
way too young.
Yeah.
Wow.
So thoughts and prayers go out to his family.
And likewise to Kevin Cahill and his family on the passing of his mother-in-law. Our thoughts and prayers, and also Ward Todd's mother-in-law.
Oh, she did?
Passed away.
She did.
She was 100, right? Ward Todd's mother-in-law?
I believe so.
I think she was wow.
So condolences to those families, and likewise our thoughts and prayers are with them.
Yeah. 100's a good life, though.
100's a good life.
100,
Yeah.
is a good life. Yes.
Yeah, you think back on it in 100 years, like everything that they've experienced.
Oh my God, yeah.
From 100 years ago to today, like just everything in general. It just must have been.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
To see where the world has come, and more importantly, technology.
Yeah.
Technology. It's just, we see the way it has advanced so rapidly in the past 20 years, 25 years. Now multiply that times 4 and take it over 100.
No, it's a really interesting. It's an interesting exercise to kind of try to put yourself in there and understand all the change that occurred, and it's incredible, technology-wise, social-wise, politically. There's been so much dramatic influence over that amount of time.
Oh, of course,
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Even in our lifetimes, we're still fairly young. But when you think back, my daughter grew up, and it's a novelty to see a phone that's attached to the wall.
Oh, of course.
And,
there was those memes where they had the old rotary phones.
What about payphone? What about payphone?
Yeah, they're in museums now, and that's it.
It's just,
And the TV remotes, all the new TVs, you can't even turn them on without a remote.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I remember being a kid. My mom and dad would get so upset because we would come home from school, have a snack in front, and we'd sit right at the table and push the TV right to the edge so we could change the channel manually, and you'd be too close to the screen. My mom and dad would have a fit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna fall off. You're gonna ruin your eyes. Sit over here.
That was always the big thing.
Yep. But you didn't want to have to get up to change the. When remotes came out, that was a big.
That was huge.
Yeah, a huge increase in comfort.
Or being the one that moved the antennas for your parents.
The antenna too.
You get the better.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And you stop and think, could we survive without one of these after all these years?
Oh, no.
You could, but it would be extraordinarily different.
Yeah.
Just think of what we are able to do and the information we're able to gain and the resources just with this thing here.
Yep.
And with some of the new, as a result of the pandemic, did I mention to you about the Clear app? Either one of you is familiar with the Clear app?
Is that the New York City app for
not just New York City, okay? It's nationwide.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a national platform.
So that's an app that you download, and you can also put in the information. So your vaccination card is in there, and you're basically you're registered. It asks for a bunch of information. It takes maybe about 5 minutes or so. But a few weeks ago, back in August, went to a Yankee Red Sox game, and the line at the main gate where you go up the stairs was huge, and to the right of it there was a Clear entrance.
Okay.
And you just walk through the maze of the pedestrian barriers that they had. Showed that and walked right in.
Okay. I have the Excelsior app.
Yeah. A QR code shows up on your screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had the New York Excelsior app, which is essentially the same thing. You put your information in, like when you got your shot, when you got your second shot, what you get, and then they have the QR code. And because my friends and I went to a Yankee game a couple months ago, right when they were allowing people back into the stadium, and same thing. We had to show our phone. They scanned it, and then we were in.
Off and running. Laura shared a similar experience with traveling to Florida on the plane. Once he was in the system, he just had to pull up the QR code on his phone, and off he went.
Yep. Well, we're doing that Friday.
You know what was surprising is, I looked to what venues they're utilizing it, and the Meadowlands was not on there. In fact, in New Jersey, it just lists Newark Airport.
Really?
Which I thought was strange.
Yeah, that's likely to change. Yeah,
that's definitely
especially with opening day coming. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm going.
But Citi Field utilizes it. Like I said, Yankee Stadium. The metropolitan airports, I didn't see Albany or Newburgh on it, but I think it's only a matter of time. And I actually think, and I actually hope that, Fauci was on last night, the one football game where they had 100,000, college football, 100,000 people. I think it's going to get to the point where if you're not vaccinated, you don't get in. Plain and simple.
Yeah, I tend to think you're right.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah. And this, that's something he had talked about was actually was encouraging it, because just the way the numbers have gone. You mentioned in the first half hour that we're certainly not out of the woods yet, and we certainly aren't. And now there's a new variant, that Mu, that's on.
We didn't get through Delta yet. The virus has to slow down, give us a chance to keep up.
Well, you know what? Obviously, the percentage of people getting vaccinated has increased because it was a little over 75% of the nation's population had at least one shot.
I think one of the things that became self-motivating was I could go through 15, 16 people that are suffering with Delta right now, and 6 or 7 of those are breakthrough infections of people who were vaccinated. But the ones that weren't, 2 of them got really, really scary sick.
Yeah.
And, the breakthrough folks had symptoms, but they largely quickly resolved. The other folks, they're dealing with pneumonia and close calls, and why? That's not a necessary risk to take at this point.
And I just can't understand why anybody would, especially anybody that has children.
Yeah, you got a lot
jeopardizing
to lose.
Jeopardizing their kids.
Yeah, it's a tough subject. I mean, we have some people that, because the county now, you either have to get weekly testing or you had to show proof of your vaccination. And I had one of my coworkers quit because she just had religious objections to it. And I mean, I understand where they're coming from. To each their own. But it's that difficult subject where, on one hand, you have to respect someone's wishes, but on the other hand, you see the effects of it. Like you said, we have 2 different strains of it coming right now, but it's a touchy subject.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because there's so much opportunity for communication, but there's not a platform that kind of transcends people's perspectives in a way that we all look to that as a reliable resource. Depending on where you're getting your information in your news, you might look at the sources I'm looking at and say, well, those are not credible because of whatever reason. And then you might have your sources and you would be well informed with those, but I might not view your sources to be credible or reliable. And that's an unfortunate place we're at.
Yeah.
There's not that one source.
And it is unfortunate. And that's kind of like the polarization that we're at now, especially, from a political landfall or anything. It's, we were for 5-6 years now, we've just slowly gone to the extremes of things where, it's right or left. It's, not wrong or right, but it's, like you said, I listen to these news outlets, you listen to these news outlets. They're telling me X, Y, and Z. They're telling you X, Y, and Z. So I'm right, you're wrong, I'm right. So it's confusion all around. And that even transcends, obviously, to like why I'm here and the purpose of everything is, the local politic field. Everyone, I feel like we're at that period where people are still strongly identifying, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, I'm this, I'm that, but we're looking for people who kind of will bring people back to the middle. Where, especially in the local politic end of it, that's where we need to be. We need, not so much identity, but like, what are you going to do for the community? Because at this local level is where we do have the biggest impact with that.
Do you think people, as opposed to 30, 35 years ago, do you think there is still a good percentage of people, because an individual is Republican, they automatically vote because for the Republican? If they're a Democrat, they automatically vote for the Democrat, or they look more so at the individual?
I 100%. It's whatever you are. So when I was walking around, because like when I first got into this, I had to collect signatures, and because I was registered, I'm a registered Democrat, but I wasn't endorsed by the party. I had to get Democratic signatures, but the Republicans and conservatives also endorsed me, so I had to get their signatures as well. I would knock on someone's door, and this happened on both parties, so I'm not singling anyone out. I would knock on someone's door and say, "Hi, my name is Michael Oliveri. I'm seeking the Democratic nomination." Or, excuse me, I'd be like, "My name is Michael Oliveri. I'm running for office, and these are my platforms." And one lady said, "What are you?" And I said, "I'm a Democrat." She goes, "Give me your piece of paper." So I never even got a chance to tell her one thing about me other than I'm a Democrat and I'm seeking.
I think that's wrong.
That was it.
I think that's wrong.
It was the same thing on the Republican end. Yeah. I had people, I was coming and they're like, what are you here for? I'm like, well, I'm seeking Republican signatures. No problem. Not one question about my platform. Not one question about, what do you plans on do for the wards? Where do you stand with this? Where do you stand with that? What are you? And it's sad, and especially in this local level.
Yeah, but I think Greg was alluding to this. And my observation is, at the partisan level where you were collecting signatures, that is absolutely true. But then there's the folks that are in the middle that either stay non-enrolled or don't participate in party politics at that level. And those are the folks during the primary season that don't participate.
Sure.
And I think that group of people is less likely to vote based off of identity politics than the folks that are more active in their parties for
Agreed.
partisan purposes.
Yeah.
So
especially
that spectrum exists outside of, because I've experienced similar things going out and doing petitioning myself. But when you get outside of those two spectrums, that part in the middle is getting larger and larger.
Yeah.
However, those folks are not politically active because there's kind of a taboo about it, or a feeling of dirtiness about it, or something that motivates them not to participate. But the consequence is the folks that get nominated and elected are generally more partisan and not necessarily willing to compromise.
Mm-hmm.
And that, if you're going to be the nominee because of identity politics, you're going to govern that way. And I feel strongly that certainly there's a place for that, and there's, you certainly have to have a set of values that you bring to the table, but once you have the responsibility to govern, you govern for everyone the best you can.
Of course.
And certainly you're not going to make certain people happy, but if that's your motivation, you're picking the wrong career.
You're definitely picking.
You have to make decisions that are sound and reasonable and justified, and you also have to make a decision once in a while. You can't just keep kicking the can. People rely on you to execute and to do things, and hopefully you get it right, and you collect all the information you can, and then you make the decision. And you have to live with the outcome.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's in Ward 7, Patrick O'Reilly is the incumbent, but he's not running anymore. Mm-hmm. But he's no party. He's no party affiliation, and Ward 7 has, if you break that into categories, the no party affiliation is the largest group in Ward 7. And when I go around and I introduce people, I say, "Hi, my name is Michael Oliveri. I'm running for alderman," and I tell them all about me. The one thing that I always leave them with is the same thing that I do with my motivational speaking. I always tell people, here's my contact information. I may not get back to you right away, but I will always get back to you. And that's what I was telling a lot of people that I was going around walking to. I may not get back to you right away, and I may not give you the answer you want to hear, which is, what you were referring to as to actually making a decision, but I will always get back to you. And that's one thing that I've stressed throughout this entire thing. I mean, I've had people reach out to me that I'm not even an alderman yet. I'm hopefully come November I will be, but I've had people reach out to me from other wards. And they're like, hey, can you find this out for me? And I'm like, sure, I have no problem. I make a couple phone calls and I get back to them. But it's that thing of being there for the people and making a decision, as you were saying. And that's one of the things. Like, I'm going to do what I think is best for the people in my ward and in the city of Kingston. I'm not going to sit on the fence the entire time. I'm going to make a decision for what I think is best for the people. And that's it. Like, that's how I'm going to base things.
And in the end, even though there may be a few that are upset, you gain that respect.
Yes.
By pulling the trigger, so to speak, and making the decision instead of sitting on the fence.
Yeah, and my topics or my beliefs on things are in black and white. They're on my website. They're on my Facebook page. The flyers that I pass out to everyone. I have my stances on things right then and there because I don't. Even though I'm getting into politics, I don't play that, okay, I'm going to talk for 5 minutes and never give you the answer to the question that you actually asked me. Like, this is my stance on things. This is how I feel. This is why I feel that way. I'm more than willing to hear opposition to it and maybe get enlightened onto a different way that I haven't thought of before, but I am at least going to make my decision and stand by that, which I think is what we need. We need decision makers, whether it's right or wrong, then you learn from it if it's wrong. Okay, listen, this was my opinion on this. I felt this way. Someone met up with me. They gave me the opposing viewpoint. I saw a lot of the facts that they were going for. At the time, I based my decision on this. But now that this new information is out there, I'm willing to, either change my decision or, work to involve that side of it as well. And we need people that have that. And I truly feel like with my platform and where I stand on things, I am that centrist where I take information from this side, I take information from that side, I mold it together, put my own 2 cents into it, and that's my decision. Not like I'm playing party politics.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do what I think is best.
There's nothing wrong if you make a decision because obviously with what you just alluded to, I know it's happened with me before. I've made a decision, or I'm about to go this way instead of that way, and then somebody will speak with me. They'll give their opinion, their point of view, and it's a lot. Many times you overlook that.
Sure.
You overlook that point of view, or where the individual is coming from. So there's nothing wrong with changing a decision when provided the facts are there, and you end up in the end making the correct decision.
Exactly, and I'm not that stubborn or egotistical where it's like, no, I'm always right. There've been plenty of times where I've felt a way about something, and someone brought new information to me, and I was like, oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. I never thought of it that way, and that changes my perspective on things. Like, I'm not one of those who dig my feet in the sand where everyone around me is like, this is actually the truth. Nope, I don't think that way. No. This is...
You can't.
And especially, you have to evolve.
You're not serving the people the way they should be served.
Exactly. And that's now we're in the red zone when it comes to the election cycle. Now it's knocking on doors, introducing yourself, getting your information out there. This is the fun part. And this is what I'm really looking forward to. I like that face-to-face interaction, or mask-to-mask, depending on what's going on. But yeah, I mean, if anyone out there would like more information about me, obviously I'm on Facebook. It's Mike 4 Ward 7. My name is Michael Oliveri. My website is maoinspires.com. That's also the information for my motivational speaking as well, because now that school's starting back up, hopefully in different areas of the country, I'll be able to start doing that again. We're going to Florida next week, so I reached out to a couple schools down there to try and...
You do a lot of speaking?
Pre-COVID, I did. Obviously, COVID put a big damper in it because my bread and butter are schools.
Okay.
So
primarily in the schools.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of it for foster care organizations as well, but it's gathering groups of people has been obviously relatively tough. So it's been on I don't want to say the back burner, but unfortunately, it's had to take a back seat to that. But that's okay, because that gives me more time to focus on my political aspirations.
You put a lot in this year. Didn't you get married this summer?
Oh yeah, this is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're not wasting any time.
COVID has been like a phenomenal, well, I don't want to say phenomenal, but it's been a very exciting part of my life. We got engaged, we got married, we bought a house. I'm running for office. Things have been good for me personally for the last year and a half.
Good for you.
That's good. Not everybody's saying that during COVID.
I know a lot of people cannot say that.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Oliveri, we are just about out of time. We thank you for taking time out of your busy day, and we look forward to next month.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen.
Take it away.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a teen practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
Rondout Savings Bank has a long history of serving local communities and maintaining a strong tradition of customer service excellence while providing each customer with the personal attention they deserve. Rondout Savings' approach to community banking puts you and the growth of your business in the front of everything they do. They're a different kind of bank and would like to tell you why, so please reach out to one of their expert business bankers for an appointment and let them show you what they can do for you. Rondout Savings Bank, always working for you and the community with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park. Also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Thank you, Lawrence, and welcome back, listeners and viewers who have been with us this morning. Those just joining us, welcome. 331-9255 is our call-in number. Supervisor from the town of Saugerties, Fred Costello, is alongside of me here in the studio.
Good morning.
It is time for birthdays.
So we got a couple birthdays on this fine September 8th. We have a happy birthday to David Ramsdale from your friends at People's Place. We hope you enjoy your special day. And we also have happy birthday to Marie Huth from your friends at People's Place again. We hope you enjoy your special day. So we have two folks from People's Place being honored for their birthday.
And today's winner of that famous cow pie is Marie Huth.
Ooh.
Marie, congratulations. Happy birthday. When you get the opportunity, get down to Boyce Dairy Milk House, 62 O'Neill Street, right here in Kingston, New York, and pick up that famous cow pie, which is courtesy of Boyce Dairy Milk House and Kingston Community Radio. And listeners, please continue to send the birthdays in. It's very easy. You can email to kcr921@gmail.com. You can Postal mail to Kingston, New York, P.O. Box 4364, Kingston, New York, 12402. So once again, Marie Huth, congratulations. Have yourself an awesome day. Enjoy that cow pie. Happy birthday.
September's a good month for birthdays. My nephew has his birthday. A couple of my friends have birthdays. My brother.
My brother's birthday is Friday.
Friday?
Jamie's
Perfect.
yeah.
September 10th.
September the 10th.
Yeah. Good month for cake.
Yeah.
If you write it down for me, I'll put it in there for him.
All right.
I think we have a winner. Well, I'm not actually sure how that. I actually, no, we do have a winner already. Because wait, actually, I don't know. I didn't look, Friday's folder looked pretty thick, but that could be Saturday and Sundays.
Sunday,
they
too.
do 3 days of birthdays.
I'll
so at the end of the show, write down his name, his birthday.
Perfect.
Yeah. You guys should always do that. I know Cam always puts his kid in, and I put some of my friends. I put their birthdays.
I always forget about it, and then I know the deadline is usually Friday, and then over the weekend I'll think, geez, I should have. I got what I got to do. I have loads of people's birthdays in my phone.
Oh, you got to
The thing is.
It comes up that
day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Or like
so I guess I got to start looking out
on Facebook. It'll say it's such and such birthday today. Wish him a happy birthday, and you're like, so you sign onto your page, and it'll tell you out of your friends whose birthday it is. And
I feel bad too, though, Lawrence. I want our listeners to win the cow pies if we start putting our friends and family in.
Well, we could use the birthdays. I mean, Paula Strang sends most of the birthdays in. Christine Hines sends some in. The Office of the Aging sends them in, but what Office of the Aging in People's Place, they're volunteers' birthdays. The same people volunteer at both places.
Yeah.
So sometimes we're getting double birthdays, so it's all right.
It's good.
Yeah, this week I think we've had birthdays
every
this
day.
Week, so we're good.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's when you go when you go out of 5 days and there's only birthdays for one day, then it seems
331-9255 is our call-in number. We've got a little bit of dead time, so to speak, before Bob Siracusano calls in. That'll be about 8:10 or 8:15. Peggy Schwartz, Vice Chair of the Saugerties Chamber, and will then be joining us at 8:35. And she'll be talking about the street art and the online auction that's currently taking place for the butterflies. They lined the streets this year, and I wonder if she's opened up the contest for next year's.
You got a caller?
We've got a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air with Kingston Community Radio.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Hey, George, how are you?
How's things with you?
Not too bad at all. Fred, I wanted to thank you for coming by that last time I was at Adams for the American Town of Esopus American Legion Post. I appreciate your donation and everything. That was fantastic.
I would appreciate your hard work. You do a lot of great work. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, you guys was talking this morning about the guy doing the elections and stuff, and with COVID and stuff. Have you noticed that with the spikes that have been coming around since, let's say, the 4th of July and all the other the two fairs been going on and stuff, to where everything is starting to rise? I happened to be at the Ulster County Fair for the Ulster County American Legion at their booth for 5 days.
Yep.
And if there was 3% of people in masks, that was a lot.
Yeah.
And you look at the football stadiums now, college stadiums, you saw a ton of fans in the stadiums and very few masks from when you was able to see on the TV. I wonder if, and the pros is kicking in this weekend, so I wonder if everybody's starting to relax too much.
I think there was an element of that. Even I know my own behavior relaxed to a degree because once we were vaccinated, we kind of felt like this was going to be over. And there's a catching up period. It's not over yet, clearly. And we're probably going to have to go back and employ some of those measures that helped us flatten the curve the first round. For folks who are vaccinated, you are definitely safer statistically, especially suffering a catastrophic illness from COVID. But you can still get sick. And those precautions, especially as the weather changes and we're going back indoors, I think we're going to have to reemploy a number of those to ensure that we're safe and the people we care about and our customers and our neighbors are safe as well.
I think that what you're going to see with the NBA season opening up, the National Hockey League opening up, indoor venues, I'm almost certain they're going to be mandating masks. You know, your outdoor venues, you just people have a sense. I know I do a sense of being safer outdoors
outside for sure
than indoors.
Yeah.
But you know, it's unfortunate that this whole Delta variant has been fueled by the reluctancy of so many to not get vaccinated. And you see the percentage. I mean, the information is very, very clear. The scientific information is very, very clear. There are breakthrough cases, as you spoke about in the previous half hour. But those who have been vaccinated do not get seriously ill, and they overcome it fairly quickly.
Really quickly.
And as you also alluded to, the ones that were not vaccinated that got it got quite sick.
Yeah, I have a list of my friends who were not going to get vaccinated who are suffering pretty serious illness right now. And that's unnecessary. And you know, I'm worried about them because they're people I care about.
Who have been vaccinated still could carry the virus.
Yes.
And you got all these people that are getting together without masks and stuff. And that could create a problem down the road. But no, it's a situation where it's still brand new. It's another variant, but people are still learning, and everybody's got to figure out how to try to handle it at the best rate where we finally get rid of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the whole key is the vaccination. Again, the scientific-based information, not what you see on social media, not what you hear. You just have to go by the science and what is actually fact, and not a lot of hype. And it's I don't know how much simpler I can make it. I mentioned earlier, I'm hoping that these large venues, such as the Meadowlands, Yankee Stadium, Citi Fields, of course, they're coming to the end of their baseball season. You show proof of vaccination or you don't get in. You know, plain and simple. Why jeopardize 80%, 85%, whatever that percentage is, of the people who have been vaccinated by the 10 or 15 that may be in that large setting venue? It's just, I know I wouldn't want to be subject to that.
No, I agree with you, Greg. I think if you don't have proof of vaccination, you
don't
should
get
have
in.
to wear a mask.
Right,
You know?
yeah, because
Well,
I got my 2 shots. I went through the VA down at Castle Point and stuff, and the first one was a walk-in. I was in and out in an hour and a half, if that. And that was having other people online. They made appointments, too. So, and then the other one was an appointment. I was in and out within about 45 minutes. So, time-wise, it doesn't take any time at all. But, yeah, it's something that we got to keep an eye on and everything else. And so you guys have a great day. I'll be listening to you next week up until I'll be at Adams again on the 15th for the last time for the town of Esopus Post doing the raffle. Then we'll be at Van Loan's on the weekends and stuff. And then November the 11th, when we do our Veterans Day services, we'll be pulling order winners because we'll have the 3 cash prizes. And we're going to have about 10, 15 gift certificates. So, you
All right,
guys
George,
keep up
good
the work
hearing
and
from you. We
everything
do
else,
have our
and,
guest
have a great day, everybody.
hanging on.
Hi, George.
Thanks for your call. We appreciate it. Good morning, Bob Siracusano. Bob?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me good?
Yes.
We can, yes.
Awesome.
But Greg and I are a little mad at you. Between the two of us, we probably saw you a dozen times last week, and you snuck in an event without us even knowing.
Yeah, we had a lot last week with the Diaz event, which was just spectacular. With the help of my friend Ward Backus, my brother Larry, Chris had from Petition, who helped us put this thing on and put it off. It was just tremendous. You asked me how much money did I raise. Well, put it this way: our goal was to go $70,000 to make, and we blew that number apart. So it's amazing that how everything came together. We had over 300 people there.
Wow, it was quite a night.
With Mike Spears, coming down, and he, of course, I tried to pay him, and he wouldn't take any money, and we had the Grit Gang there. They finished it up, and then of course when Ian came on, it was just like everybody just blown away. He did such a great job. He's just a guy that loves his town, loves his community, and wants to give back. And he really did that night. We had a 50-50 raffle. I think was pretty high. The gentleman who won that gave half of it back to Diaz. So we couldn't do anything wrong that night. Just one thing after another.
No, and
Good for you.
And the organization, and this is something that I always applaud you on, the organization of any event that you're involved with, and to picture at the petition, especially those that know the layout of it, to get over 300 people in there, and everybody was under a tent, and the way the food was spread out, you really didn't have any long lines. I never even made it to the dinner buffet because I stuffed myself on raw clams. I went to a clam bake the week before, Bob, and the clams and what they did at the petition blew that event out of the water. I don't want to be mentioning the place or the organization, but it was awesome.
Well, that Chris wanted to do everything. He just wanted everybody to have a great time and do first class. We had white tablecloths, we had the flowers. We had a lot of stuff that just brought it to the next level. And he brought his friend over, John Monahan, and with his friend, they put together. They did a heck of a job with the clams. They just they were there all day Saturday. I'm sorry, they were there all day Friday, and and then all these people had to come back and clean up. It was amazing. And the food, Chris started cooking that food 3 or 4 days prior to to the event.
Oh, I bet.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And just the girls going around, the girls and the guys with the hors d'oeuvres. It was quite an evening, a very, very enjoyable evening. The music was great. Mike Spears is always great, and great evening. And again, hats off to you for the organization and pulling it together. That was how many years now have you done the Diaz event?
I believe that was our fourth. Ward and I started it first year. It was a smaller. I think we raised $25,000 or something like that, $26,000. And also I give credit to and special thanks to Frank Tiano and his group. He brought his wife came over, and they volunteered their time because they were this is what they do. They have a banquet place there, and they did an excellent job. And just the support we had from everybody. The pastry was donated. The Mount Marion Fire Department took care of that, and it was just.
Oh, the fire department donated all the pastry, huh?
Yep, that's Well, they have. I forgot the gentleman's name who. There was a bakery. I forgot the gentleman's name, but I believe they worked together on it. And then Sawyer Bank. When it comes to an auction, that's one thing I like to do. And they gave me the challenge to. We're gonna raffle something off. We did fund in need. Because we need new radios. And they matched the first 5,000, and I think with that funded need, we ended up with like 8,000 or 9,000. So
wow.
On top of that, and they matched that. So.
And who is this? Sawyer Savings Bank?
Sawyer Savings Bank, yeah. Yep.
They had their 150th anniversary community day at the complex, and there was a certain individual dressed in a white suit with a ice cream buggy. Giving out free ice cream.
I didn't know if you wanted an ice cream or you just want to go ahead and jump in and help me. I don't know, but I gave away 150 ice creams. They had a great turnout. I believe Doug told me they had close to like 300 people there, which is nice. And
that's perfect.
I think it was just a little over 300 from what Jen was telling me.
Yeah. They were doing a face painting there. boy, they definitely had stuff to do. The kids do. They'll see them playing golf. You know, they're going into those bouncy houses.
Yep.
You know, you want to call them. And
Boy, a couple of those bouncy houses, I never even knew.
They're extraordinary.
That, I mean, the enormity
Yeah.
of two of them. I mean, when I saw that set up, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And then the miniature golf they set up on the basketball court
was impressive too.
Yeah, that was it. That was impressive.
You know, it was too bad the weather hurt them a little bit because Jen did an amazing job setting that up. It was a really nice day for anybody who went there. Brooks Barbecue, and then I missed you, Bob. I don't know how, but I heard you were there with the ice cream truck. That's great too. So it was a perfect day.
Yeah, and the weather cleared up. It stopped raining. In fact, for a brief period of time, maybe 10 seconds, the sun
was
came.
out.
The sun came out. But it wasn't. You know, it
wasn't very cold though.
No. It had stopped raining, and unfortunately, when people see rain or they hear it with the forecast, and a lot of times those forecasts are dramatized, they make the decision, you know, we're not going out.
Yep.
So if I'm sure they would have had a better crowd if the weather had been like today.
Yeah. I think they got to be happy though, because I think they
Oh,
were
yes.
anticipating 400. So to get 3 and change, I think was a perfect turnout for them.
Yeah. And Saugerties Little League did all the, they did fried dough and I believe the cupcakes. They were doing the fried dough down to Little League concession, and I gave them one of the utility cards. Keith did, and they were transporting it back and forth. And they did fried dough for one other event. It might have been Little League opening day, and the line practically went back to Sauerfield.
Wow.
For fried dough. It's amazing. So
it's a great weekend, you know.
Fred was talking that neither him or I knew of this other event that you did on top of everything else with the senior housing, I believe.
Well, they just celebrated their, honestly, they celebrated their 50th anniversary last year. And with that, I felt that, you know, for all the seniors that are there, that Ward and I had a discussion about it, that let's do something special for them, and let's help them celebrate the 50th anniversary. So what we did, we got a hold of John Livermore. We got a hold of Michael Dell, who was a personal friend of mine and a great singer, great guy, and we called up. We got a nice big tent. We ended up having over 100 people there. This was Monday. It started at 1 o'clock, and Mike started singing, and you know, the all seniors there, they just loved that kind of Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, you know, Michael Bublé, that nice music. They were up there dancing, and they just had a great time. It was just tremendous.
And this was at the senior residence at Maine and
Yep, right in the back.
Washington, and you set a tent up.
Yeah, we had all the cars get parked on the street. I don't know if you noticed when you rode down there Washington Avenue, they were parked all on both sides, and then we put the tent there. So you know, and we gave them a lot of space. It was really nice. The food was tremendous. I know the seniors had a great time. You know, again, this Ward and my brother. You know, it was fun, and it was something well deserved. You know, 50 years of taking care of our seniors, and the gentleman who works there, Sal, who's like the superintendent, and how he takes care of those, you know, those residents is unbelievable. It just the place is spotless. I mean, it was like, I was talking to the Matt, the gentleman who's in charge, and he says, you know, since the 50 years, they probably painted that place about 8 or 9 times, and everything looks brand new. They just,
it does.
It's beautiful. It's flowers. It's just amazing how they take care of it. So.
Yeah, a tremendous amount of care goes into the maintenance of that place, and those residents respond. You know, any morning you go by, especially on the weekend, there's a dozen or so sitting out in the front on the benches and kind of enjoying each other's company. It's a pretty special place.
Yeah, it is special. And right now they're full. You know, they got a waiting list. Imagine that. I think they said they got over 60 or 70 units there, and they're full. They are full. You know.
it's really a jewel of a place given its location. You know, they're right in the heart of the village. You can walk, you know, to get coffee at Stewart's or to the diner. There's so many opportunities, and they're kind of right in the thick of all of this. So it's a really appealing place to live.
It is, and it's really, you know, every Christmas, Ward and I and his wife, Chris, you know, we serve Christmas dinner to the residents there that don't go any place. So we're there on Christmas Day at 1 o'clock. We have it catered. We pick everything up at trying to find a restaurant or a diner that's open on Christmas morning, which normally we get it done. And we have about 20 to 25 people that either their families are too far away or you know, they went out the Christmas Eve with their family. Some people do it then and don't do nothing on Christmas. So it's something that we always look forward to every year.
That's perfect. It's really something special, and give those opportunities to celebrate for those families as well is really something special.
And then you know what I wanted to do, and I forgot. You know the young lady that calls from the senior house all the time.
Yes, Mrs. Rauschendorfer.
Yeah, I wanted to meet her, and you know, I was so busy with making sure everything is good and everything. I just never had that chance.
We actually have a caller, Bob, and she hasn't called in yet today, so it may be her.
Okay, well, I'll let you guys go.
No, they want to speak with you. You have to stay on.
Nope, they want to talk to you, Bob.
We could have them both on at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air with Kingston Community Radio.
Good morning.
There she is.
I just want to thank Bob for all he did at the senior residence on Monday. We all enjoyed it very, very much. Everything was wonderful the way it was all set up, and it really was a wonderful afternoon. I want to thank you for all you do.
No problem. You're welcome. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to sit and chat with you. Or were you up there dancing with some of the other girls?
It's kind of hard to hear you.
I was just wondering, were you up there dancing with all the other girls?
No, I was tapping my feet where I was sitting, though. You know, but it really was good, nice. The whole thing. You know, the food was good, the music was good, and the way it was set up, too, with the tables and the chairs, and, you know, the whole thing, it couldn't have been better.
Thank you.
And then, of course, Mother Nature was very kind, too.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I think what we'll do is we're going to wait another 50 years and do it again.
yeah, right. I'm not sure if I'll be around at that time.
So that was the 50th anniversary of that residence opening?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Wow. What are they? I think they call it the Saugerties community housing.
Yep.
Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Yes, it's a better community housing, you know, and it's really good housing, and the people, you know, they really keep it up. If you have any problems in your apartment, if something isn't working right, they come right away and they fix it. You don't have to wait for days and stuff like that.
And Sal does a great job.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, big shout out to Sal Caballero.
So, again, thank you for that, and for all the other things you do, too, you know, for all the people here in Schwartz, and we really love you very much, and we appreciate very much what you do for us.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Thank you so much.
Mrs. R, do you mind sharing how many years you've lived there?
Excuse me?
Would you mind sharing how many years you've lived there?
I've been there 18 years. It was
Wow.
18 years in August the 18th. It was there 18 years.
That's a pretty good run.
Yeah, uh-huh. And John and Bev really did a great job. And I was very glad that they were recognized, too, at it.
Yeah. We gave them a nice plaque and a dinner certificate.
Harris, right?
So one of their, yep.
Yeah, Harris, right.
Yeah, for one of their two of their favorite restaurants.
Oh, that was nice.
That was nice.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like you covered all the bases.
Yeah, and then the new managers we have in now, too, will do a good job, Matt and Megan.
Yep.
They're very helpful, too, you know, and kind, and they're doing a good job, too.
You know, it's so refreshing to hear that because it's not always the case when the residents are happy.
Other places where, you know, people, you know, they need things fixed and they never get fixed. They're not taken care of, you know, and that's a shame, you know, when that kind of things go on. because a lot of people suffer from that, and then it makes the prices go down, and it gets to a point where it's not even able to be fixed.
Mm-hmm. It's obvious that it has been well kept over the years and continues to be. You just look, the building's 50 years old. You look at the condition of the building, certainly doesn't look like it's 50 years old, and the way the grounds are kept also.
Yes, right. Yep. And you can go in there anytime, to that building. It's always clean, and like you said, the grounds outside are really nice. We have the flowers around, and the grass is kept cut good, and Sal does a good job in doing that.
And then there's another component that's an intangible, but the management there truly sees its residents as part of a family and an organization. I know when we reached out, when vaccination opportunities were presented early this year, the management was very responsive and welcoming, and it was no trouble creating that opportunity for the residents who wanted to get vaccinated early on. And that wasn't the case unanimously for some of the other resources available to seniors. Your management was like, yes, we need that for our residents, and they helped us facilitate that right away, which was welcomed.
Yeah, right. And then, I know they had said that, they were working on it happening, but they didn't find out until the day it happened, and still they got it all together.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Well, Mrs. R., thank you for calling in. We're always glad to hear from you. And Bob Siracusano, we're approaching the bottom of the hour. We're at the bottom of the hour here. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, and I know how busy you are, to join us here. I
enjoy it.
The past 20 minutes.
It's a great thing we have here, and you guys do a great job.
And you do an awesome job. Thank you very much for everything.
See you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
All right, so leaves us at the bottom of the hour. All right, we'll go on a break, and we'll be back shortly.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Central Hudson's mobile app has a new look. It's the place to view and pay bills with ease. Check your electric and gas usage to better manage your energy consumption to save money. And report an outage, anytime, anywhere. Use the app to easily submit your meter reading to avoid estimated bills. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play. It's free and easy to use.
There was this one time I went snorkeling in the Caribbean when I was a kid. It really just blew my mind. We saw the most beautiful corals. I remember thinking they were waving at us as they moved with the ocean. And then there were all these amazing fish. I'll never forget it. It completely changed the way I look at the ocean.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget. Let's protect the world's natural places so more memories can be made for generations to come. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. Welcome back, listeners who have been with us this morning and those just joining us for this last half hour already. 331-9255 is our call-in number. Fred Costello, Supervisor Town of Saugerties, is in the studio here with me. And shortly we'll be hearing from Peggy Schwartz, who's the Vice Chair of the Saugerties Chamber.
Looking forward to it. And congratulations once again to Bob. And thank you, Mrs. R, for calling in when you did. That was perfect. And I'm glad you had a good day. The pictures looked amazing. It looked like everyone who participated had a really good time. So another successful event. I don't know when Bob finds time to work anymore.
I don't know. Does he sleep?
I don't know if he sleeps either.
I mean, constant.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great. He does so many good things, and so many good things that we don't ever hear about. I know a number of occasions where a family had suffered a loss of some capacity, and they were one of the first groups there to be there to help out and provide support and help out there as well. So as much as they do that we know about, they probably do that much that we don't know about.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's other things that he does that we just don't know about. I believe we have got Peggy Schwartz on the line. Good morning, Peggy.
Good morning, Greg.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. And yourself?
Fine and dandy.
Good morning, Peg. How are you?
Is this Freddie?
It sure is.
That's Freddie.
Yep. Good to hear from you. How are you?
I am well, guys.
Good.
So, for our listeners and our viewers, Peggy is the vice chair, correct? Vice chair or vice president?
I don't know. I guess co-chair, vice chair of the Saugerties Chamber of Commerce.
And you folks have done just an awesome job. I say this all the time, that inception of First Friday, you not only hit a home run with it, you hit a grand slam. And just everything that the chamber does in the for the village of Saugerties and the business owners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've been a tremendous resource, and it's. I said it in earlier. I don't know if you're listening, but I think the one thing that you created that is unique and special and highly useful, especially now as we're welcoming new businesses to Saugerties, is that platform for new businesses to introduce themselves to the Saugerties business community and for them to have the opportunity to tell them about themselves, but to also meet other businesses that could provide services. And that's I know that's the fundamental mandate, but especially now, and I think during COVID, it makes it even more important.
Mm-hmm. And what I think is really wonderful is the longevity of the businesses in Saugerties. We have Montana Shoe Store,
Mm-hmm.
we have Smith's Hardware, Sawyer Savings Bank, and also Town and Country Liquors, my store, that have been here for quite a long time. And then we have an influx of new businesses, and we have businesses that started maybe 5 years ago that are still, doing okay. And I really want to put a shout out to our restaurants, especially the resilience that they have shown, the creativity to keep their businesses running in COVID times. They're extraordinary. I mean, they're just doing an amazing job for themselves and for our community. And I think that'll lead me to talk about one of the projects that the Chamber has is the Saugerties Takeout Project. And we invite people to get gift certificates from local restaurants. And you, the buyer, you don't keep the gift certificates. You send them on to the Chamber. Either you do that or the restaurant does it, and the Chamber just then gives it out to various organizations. We have a couple of churches that we're dealing with locally, and Bob Siracusano and Chief Sinagra have been giving some of them out to senior citizens and we've given out a lot to the Boys and Girls Club. So I would ask people to call your local restaurant, go into your local restaurant, buy a gift certificate from them, either ask them to mail it to the Chamber, P.O. Box 731, Saugerties Chamber of Commerce, or they'll mail it in for you, or you can do it. It's a really worthwhile cause.
Yeah, that is a tremendous program, and it's helpful in two ways. Someone who can benefit from a meal is getting it, but it's also helpful to the restaurants who have been particularly challenged over the past 18 months. But I think your comments are notable. The resiliency that the restaurant community in Saugerties has demonstrated is pretty impressive, and some managers have been able to accelerate their businesses, which I really applaud, because I know from our own experience it's been challenging.
Yeah, and you touch
and that's why we really encourage this the Saugerties Takeout Project, because right now we're in warm weather and people can eat outdoors, but the restaurants will be going through the challenge again once it's cold and people cannot eat outdoors. So really we ask for support of the Saugerties Takeout Project. It helps families, it helps restaurants, and it's a great program.
I'm glad you touched upon the restaurants and used the word extraordinary, especially last year, at the height of COVID. Just thinking outside the box and some of the unique things that different restaurants did to accommodate customers to continue their business, in some cases grow their business. Mm-hmm. The Dutch Ale House setting a large tent up out in the back parking lot. What Brendan in the alleyway going into the municipal parking lot. The picnic tables that were set up, and Brendan went out, the wooden ones anyway, 8 or 10 of them he bought. We had the food court at Main and Market Street. And one other thing, too, I thought was quite special. Brendan opened up the outside portion, the porch, so to speak, the bar. So that's where they served drinks from. But he never opened the restaurant. He kept the restaurant closed, so other restaurants, you could order. There were menus right on the table. Mm-hmm. You could call, and the restaurants would deliver right to there. So I'm glad you touched upon that, Peggy, because so many of them thought outside the box. Yeah. And obviously, with that kind of endeavor, you have to have the cooperation and the support of the restaurants, where individuals did call their orders in, and they had delivery people deliver it right over to the food court.
Correct. And, I just would like to mention that the Chamber has a little visitors house on Partition Street next to Bluestone Coffee, right in front of Partition. And that'll be open probably till the end of October. And anybody's welcome to put your menus in there. And it doesn't have to be a restaurant. You could put sales in there, services. But anybody is welcome to put information into the Saugerties Chamber of Commerce Visitor Center on Partition Street.
That's worked out real well for you folks.
Yeah. Yes, and I got to say thanks to Michael Persico, who's been, has allowed us to use his spaces. He allowed us to do it a while ago across from Mirabella's, and now in front of Partition. So it's been really good. And just speaking about restaurants, the Chamber has been having our mixes on Zoom, and we just started to go live. And the very first place we went to was Partition on Partition Street, because it was the perfect venue to be outdoors and and just to gather responsibly. And interestingly enough, it poured that day, but Chris from Partition was very generous, gave us snacks and shelter, and it was a good time. It was really great.
Yeah, those events for folks that have never gone to one, they're fun. You get to meet your neighbors and talk about common issues and celebrate common causes. And it's a really nice, casual atmosphere. So for folks that have not gone, you certainly should create that opportunity and go to one. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the last 2 months, I think the first one you did live, the one at the petition was in July, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I had a conflict, and then had all intentions of going to the one in August, and then we got notification, and it wasn't a lot of advance, for the ceremony that took place on Cantine that Ulster County Executive Pat Ryan did, and the county legislatures with the Pride of Ulster County Award and Senator Hinchy's proclamation that was presented. And thank you very much, Peggy. You and Bob, I know, left that chamber meeting to join us on the field that evening. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, it's exciting. You take pride. You take pride in in our baseball team. I mean, yeah, I take pride in it. And speaking about Cantine, I wanted to say thank you, Greg, because you have allowed us to have 2 of our Friday night sunset concert series at Cantine. This is an event that we've been doing for many, many years, started by Sherry Lee and, oh my God.
Terry Masato.
Mary Rosado. I
Yep.
cannot believe I forgot the name for a second. Especially since the scholarship that the Chamber gives out is the Mary Rosado scholarship. But anyway, these 2 women started it, and now Steve and Terry Masato, who used to do Jump Street Jam, they organize it, and they get great music. And for a few years, we had it at the Dutch Reformed Church, but then with COVID, they weren't comfortable having it there. So we had a couple at Chorvas Park, and then Greg let us use Cantine. And we just had our last one on Friday, and it was really well attended. And one of our board members, you might all know him, Bob Siracusano, showed up at the pavilion to give out Good Humor ice cream, because that's his new day job.
I would never have guessed. But I'm so glad that has worked out. Doing it at the pavilion, and that's what that's there for. It's for the community and for our residents. So I'm really happy that it worked out. And I don't know how many years ago, the way the years go by, I can remember when you folks invited me, this was in the pre-planning stages. I think it was in the fall for the following year, or it might have been early spring, and it was up at their business on near Gallagher's on 212.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, go back a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
More than a couple.
Yeah. But I'm glad you mentioned Steve and Terry.
Another thing is the food truck festival. I think the last one comes up next
week.
Next Thursday. Yeah.
Week from Thursday.
I've only been able to go to one, and it was quite the success. The first one.
Yeah.
I mean, tons of vendors, lots of people, and that's also over at the pavilion, and it's to support the playground, new playground built, and Gail Post and Marjorie Block are doing an amazing job with that.
They absolutely are.
I don't think anybody thought that first one would draw the crowds that it did. I mean, literally the lines went from food trucks parked on the west side of Pavilion Street. The lines went all the way back to the pavilion on the east side, and vice versa for the couple that were parked on the east side. Yeah. So this past one, Marjorie
beat us up a little bit, the last one.
Yeah, it did. Here again, it's just unfortunate, but that's what they make umbrellas for. And it didn't rain that hard.
No.
And there were additional food trucks that I believe Marjorie...
I think we're going to do that.
Listen, guys, speaking of rain, did it rain any harder than it did at the car show this year? And there was still a decent crowd.
Yeah.
It was... I got so soaked. We had a booth there, a table there. I actually had to go to my friend's house in the village and get a change of clothes. But it was still fun. It was still, Bob and his brother Larry and all of Sawyer Motors did an amazing job.
Yeah, they were inspiring because they just embraced being wet. And they danced and they had a great time and they just put smiles on everybody's face anyway. It didn't matter.
Yeah, it was great.
And I'm also want to champion all the folks that brought cars. Many of those cars have not seen rain since they've been restored, and the folks that participated, 90% of them stayed and suffered the rain. And I know some of those folks are cringing, but they believed in the cause and they believed in the show and they stuck it out. And we're grateful for that.
Yeah. So speaking of that, of great events, we were due to have our annual Street Art Gala and Auction this Saturday, September 11th. This is when we auction off all the street art that has been displayed on the streets of the village and the town of Saugerties from Memorial Day to Labor Day. And we usually have an auction. It's been at SPAF for many years, and it was not live last year. We went virtual, but we did plan to go live this year at the Dutch Barn at the Kingston house. But when we heard about the COVID numbers rising in Ulster and Dutchess, we decided for safety's sake to just do it virtually again. So it's a great event. I believe that the street art really kind of perks up the streets, makes it look pretty, and we try to pick a theme every year that is representative of Saugerties. So we've done lighthouses, we've done sailboats, we've certainly done horses, and last year for the first time we did butterflies. And when Mark Smith, the chair of the chamber, suggested it, I said, really? Butterflies? Saugerties? But it was the perfect theme because it was about hope and love and beauty, and we really needed that last summer. And people loved it so much that we have done it again. The theme is butterflies. And we use the proceeds from this auction. We give out a portion to the participating artists. We give out a portion to the chamber, which then the chamber can use the money to help fund community events and causes. We give out a scholarship to a graduating Saugerties High School student. One of our projects this year, recipients will be the Takeout Project, which I spoke about before, the Saugerties Takeout Project. And we have added, one of the recipients will be the Saugerties VFW and American Legion, and we would like to honor our past and present veterans, and especially on September 11th. It just seems like the right thing to do, but we need people's support. We are shy of $12,000 right at this moment, and we need to give the money out to a lot of places, so we really could use people's support on bidding on these butterflies, and you can do that until September 11th at 7 p.m. Go on to discoversaugerties.com, and you will find all the information. And I hope that a lot of the listeners got to actually see the butterflies around the town and village. But if not, you can go online, discoversaugerties.com, or you can go to the village, the chamber building that I talked about before, and there should be walking maps, and those walking maps tell you the artist's name and the sponsor's name. And having said that, I have to say thank you to the 35 artists who participated. Some of them are repeat artists, and to the sponsors. I mean, we could not do this without sponsors. It costs a lot to do this, and we have 35. Actually, we have more than that because some people partnered. And also, if you go on to discoversaugerties.com, you will see the list of the sponsors, and you will see a copy of the walking map. But I'm really asking for everybody's support. It all goes for good causes, and we need help with this.
That was a very nice gesture on your folks' part, whether it was your decision or the decision of your committee, with funding some money towards the American Legion and the VFW, especially considering your auction ends on 9/11.
Yep. When I first came up with that idea, the first person I called to see if he thought it was a good idea is the aforementioned Bob Siracusano. And of course, Bob said, it's a great idea, and let's just do it, for the VFW and the American Legion. So, and guys, I also, so other people that make this event really possible are Bill Murphy, our mayor and the staff, Fred Costello, our town supervisor and the staff, the police department, the village department of public works, Robert Langdon of Emerge Gallery, because he does a fluttering around, walk around tour. John Ionelli of Ionelli Photography, he sets up our online auction. Michael Nelson, who takes the pictures of the butterflies for our walking map. I mean, there are a lot of people who are involved in this event, and we thank them all.
That was quite a list, Peg. Those individuals are all really gifted and leaders in their trade, and they're willing to volunteer their time. Speaks volumes, and we get some really amazing, high-quality work out of them.
Yeah, what goes around comes around, and we want our community to thrive, and it takes work. And the people who are involved, I mean, we really appreciate it. Like Mark Smith was saying yesterday, he can't thank the DPW enough. They put the butterflies up, they take them down, they deliver them. Right now they're being housed at the Dutch Barn at the Kingston house, and these people just do it. It's really fabulous. Before we run out of time, I just want to talk up one more thing,
okay,
if I can.
Of course.
And that's the farmers market over on Main Street, which happens every Saturday, I think, until the end of October. It's really great, and it's getting bigger and better, and it's people are still wearing masks, people are still distancing, but people are able to shop there and support the local farmers. And they run something called the Harvest Home Dinners from August till October, where you can purchase a dinner at somebody's house, and you don't know whose house it is. You only buy by the date, and either a local chef or just a Saugerties resident will cook a full dinner. You bring your own alcoholic beverage, and it's really a fun night, and all proceeds go to the Saugerties Farmers Market.
That is...
And by the way, I think they probably are sold out by now.
Yeah,
but
I'm
look
sure.
for it next year. Last year they didn't do it, but it's a wonderful event.
It is a wonderful event, and that's the primary fundraiser that enables the farmers market to cover its operating costs. But the folks that participate have a really wonderful night out. I know a couple of the restaurants and chefs that participate, and you're going to get a really nice, high quality meal in a really nice home as well. So, for folks that are interested in that, certainly I'll be surprised if there's vacancies now, but for next year, something to keep in mind. It's a really special night out for a good cause.
Yeah, and speaking about going to people's homes, I mean, it's fun. You get to, visit your neighbors. You may not have been friendly enough with them to be invited for dinner, but you don't know who you're going to be eating with. So it's a nice mix. Anyway, speaking of people's homes, our next chamber mixer will be at the home of Thomasine and Greg Hillsmortal, and it's just lovely to be there, and they're very gracious hosts.
What a nice setting that should be. Very nice setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're excellent hosts, and Greg still has a tremendous green thumb. His landscaping is beautiful.
They take care of the little triangle. Him and Scott, right there at 32 and 212.
Yep.
Yeah, so that should be. Yeah, and Thomasine is already talking about making something. I think she said pumpkin soup or something. So people should try to come to that. But before you do that, don't forget to bid. DiscoverSaugerties.com. Help us out. Help the artists out. Help the VFW, the American Legion, the restaurants. Help us out, guys, please.
Yes, that's very, very, very important. And Peggy, we're getting close to being out of time. Do you remember what you said to me yesterday on the phone?
Yes,
What can I talk about for a half an hour? And I said, like I've told other guests before, I'll be cutting you off. And that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for...
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no, we really appreciate it. I'm glad the opportunity presented itself, and you got the full half hour. Originally, you were just going to call in about 7:15 until 7:30, and then unfortunately, we had this other circumstance pop up. And again, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day. Thank you for all that you do for Saugerties, and especially our business community.
Thank you guys for all that you do. Really.
Have yourself an awesome day.
Okay.
Thanks,
And
Peg.
Greg, I hope to see you Saturday at can time.
Oh, yes, I will definitely be there. I will definitely
Okay.
be there. Definitely be there.
All right.
Fred Costello,
Bye-bye.
so long now. Fred Costello, Town Supervisor, thank you. Lawrence, thank you. And most importantly, thank you, listeners and viewers. We'll be back here next Wednesday.